And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb and Friends here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, excited to be joined by our co-host today, Kate Thurman, Melissa Banks, and Chanelle Coleman Wesley. Have a very special guest that's joining us today here on Amazon Live, and we also are simulcasting our broadcast today for Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. We're excited to welcome Blake Winston Rice to our broadcast today. He's a filmmaker. He's been able to give some projects we were just talking about that can be entertaining, but also thoughtful. The newest being T. We're going to talk to him about that, what it's been like for him to see the response to it. First of all, Blake, thank you so much for being on with us. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thanks. Nice to meet everyone. We got to chat for a second beforehand, but I'm thrilled, flattered, and I'm pumped to dive into it. How are we all doing?
Doing really good, and I'm excited to welcome our co-host, as I mentioned, as well. So, Blake, I'm going to have some time to speak with you a little bit later, but I do want to ask you, first of all, to kind of kick things off before I turn it over to the ladies. What has it been like for you to be able to see the way that people have been able to respond to your work you've been able to do, especially when it comes to tea?
Well, look, I've been, trying to chip into the business as a short filmmaker for 8 years or so now. And as you're growing, you always are trying to step out and get in front of more audiences, not just to show your work, but to be able to see how it's received, because it's a crucial part of growing. And it's why I'm so grateful for the short film kind of festival circuit in general. And for T to kind of be, shown in front of more audiences than ever, and to get in front of like somewhat of a wider group, and kind of be this somewhat of a coming out party for me professionally. It's been totally eye-opening, and it's been, incredibly motivating and validating, and all the things mashed up into one. And I couldn't be more grateful for what, just a short film has opened up for me professionally too.
Yeah, I love that. We're going to dive more into that, Blake, for sure. Before we get into that, though, I'm going to go backstage. I want to turn it over to Kate. Kate, he's all yours.
Okay. Blake.
Hey.
Again on T. And I just want you to know I'm telling everybody about T. They got to watch it. It's awesome.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. So I do want to know, like, what inspired you to become a filmmaker, and how did your journey in this industry to begin?
That's a good one. From the very beginning, when I was like 14, 15, my parents bought me as a present just like a handy cam video camera, like basically one of the ones that's in T. And I just loved making goof around videos with my friends on the weekends, and that kind of turned into a point sophomore year in high school where one of our teachers let us do a video project instead of an essay or a test or something. And I just ran with that. And I started pitching my other teachers, because I do video projects instead of the harder work. And it kind of blossomed into this thing that I loved towards the end of high school, and made me want to study it in college, and everything kind of snowballed from there.
Oh, I love that. Oh, wow.
I'm still doing it. I'm still just making dumb videos with my friends and trying to get more people to watch them. Nothing's changed.
We're going to watch it.
Thank you.
Can you walk us through your creative process when developing a new project?
Yeah. If I'm writing it with the goal of directing it as well, everything starts with kind of, and I'm sure you talk to a bunch of artists, you're an artist yourself. There's like that window's always open for a fresh idea. And I'm always jotting down like what's kind of a good kicker for either a short or a feature or a pilot or whatever the form is. Specifically for shorts or for features, I think it all starts with like kind of the spark. A spark can be as simple as like, what's a great plot device? For instance, someone who gets stung in the throat by a hornet, or a plot device could be, someone who's doing a last ditch pitch to kind of save people that he's done wrong to. And that's kind of can be the inspiration for a next thing. And when I start writing something, I just open up a simple document, and I only put like the simplest beats in place. And I start kind of building the puzzle pieces before the puzzle has any direction at all. And it's just always this fluid thing. And then throughout the day, I'm just constantly thinking about it. And it takes a bunch of stages of writing out, those steps. And then eventually that forms into, a treatment. And that treatment, forms into a long form summary. And that turns into a character Bible. And that turns into, all right, let's write this first bad act of it. And then let's put the second one in. And it all just kind of webs out from there.
I love that, Blake. I love that. You just gave me some inspiration on how to be extra.
Let's work on something together. Fine, we're in. We're sold.
All right, I'm ready. Thank you. I'm having a great time speaking with you, but I'm going to turn it over to Melissa. And thank you again, Blake.
Thank you.
Hi, Blake.
Hey, Melissa, what's up?
I'm just super excited to talk to you today. You know, I was listening as you talk to Kate about your process. Well, Cyrus mentioned to you earlier that I have a show called Dream by Design. On my show, we talk more about the process to getting to where you are. It's more of your journey, you know, how you got from one place to the other. And I read that you started in front of the camera, and that was interesting to me, that your start was in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. So how did you make that transition? And what advice do you have for someone who would like to make that transition?
Okay, first advice is they have to get on this show. Obviously, that's the number one. How I started in front of the camera. I did study film, so like in school, like I did get a degree in film, but I was acting in the videos I was making with my buddies. And some of those, in kind of the dawn of YouTube, we would make digital sketches and digital shorts, and I would write and direct them, but I also would act in them. And so right after college, my first kind of into the business was either being a production assistant on sets in New York, or I was commercial acting, and I had a commercial agent. So I was able to get in, and if you've ever PA'd before, it's a lot nicer to be an actor in front of the camera as far as the money you make and the you know, the day-to-day work on set. And so I was moving up at the same time, getting more and more acting work, but was still chasing the dream as a director, and it's always been the number one. And then, you know, getting after it for about 10 years or so, having that experience on both sides of the camera, I think really lends to the directing arm too. Knowing the kind of the headspace, knowing the prep necessary, knowing how that actor is feeling on the day. I think a lot of that's crucial, and I'm grateful to have those opportunities that I had working in front of the camera too. I think it all kind of applies.
Awesome. But I love that, because as my career has developed, it started out in one direction, but ended up going into another. And that's something you said, following the dream, even though it wasn't really the big money at that point, but it was the dream and it was in your heart. That's exciting to me. So
I'm still waiting for the big money. When the big money shows up,
it's coming. Just hang in there. It's definitely coming. As long as you stay with it and stay in there. Well, you've had so much success, though, Blake. You was best director at the New York International Film Festival. There's so many other successes that you have. So you've had an amazing career. So congratulations on that. But how does it feel when you look back and you see all these rewards and successes? How do you feel to see your hard work recognized in that way?
Well, I'm sure you see this the same way too. It's like when you're chasing something that's somewhat of a non-traditional step ladder, right? Like there's not a lot of the people in your immediate network starting out that have gone this route. There's not as many, you know, there's not as much job stability that's available to you on the way up. There's a lot of hardship and there's a lot of hard work. So by the time you get these accolades, it's a combination of not giving up, believing in yourself, and putting in those extra hours that, you know, kind of all delivers to an opportunity that gets before yourself that is super validating or helps you level up, like winning an award in a festival or getting placed in Cannes or, you know, being able to grow and get your stuff in front of wider audiences. It's extremely validating, but I'm also not the only one doing it. And filmmaking is a team sport. And there's a bunch of other people that I'm really proud to have been working with and been growing together as filmmakers in that project. And it's one of the favorite things I love about it. It's, you know, you don't do it by yourself, and there's other people that are growing off, doing their own projects, coming back in, getting stronger. And it's part of what I love of this business too.
I absolutely love that. And I'm watching your face as you talk about it, so you can feel your passion, that you really, really love it. And that's where my heart is. This has been an amazing conversation, and we could just chat all day, but
I know.
But thank you so much for the time. It's such an honor to meet you, and I'm going to throw it over to Chanelle.
Take care.
Thank you.
Hi, Blake. I am so excited as I'm listening to everything. I'm like, you know what? I'm just jealous of Kate right now because she got an invitation to be able to join you on something. I'm like, that's my lane.
I need to know where everyone's calling from. I can get, look, let's go. I got screenings coming up. Let's go to a festival.
I'm definitely gonna. I'm following you, so I'm paying attention. If you post anything, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm there.
Please do.
So let me focus on my questions for Cyrus gets me.
Yep.
But I wanted to say, first of all, just congratulations on all of your success. And I like the way you talked about in your time with Melissa, how, sometimes we encounter difficulties. So I want to know, what were some defining moments in your career where you kind of had to transition, and how did those things inspire you as your process for being a director?
What are kind of the hardest, what have been some of the hardest moments, you think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been making tea now. For me, has opened up doors that have never been opened in my career and put me in a different room than I've ever been in before, and that I've been trying to get into. And it's been about 10 years of that. It's, you make a short film, it's you think the world of it, you're super proud of it, and then you kind of just submit it blindly to these festivals, and then you go back to your life and you go back to making another one, and you get a ton of no's. The ratios of no's and placing into festivals are the no's of trying to get an agent, or trying to get in front of financing, or trying to get in front of actors or the right people. It's 1,000 to 1. And the harder you work and the more you believe in yourself is, what gets those numbers up, slowly but surely. So some of the hardest parts for me have just been those moments of, those artists' self-doubt that can creep in there. Am I doing the right thing? And one of the really validating things, besides the success of T, is I'm moving out to LA. I was working in New York City for about 8 years or so, and learned everything there is, that learned so much in production and on the producing side. But I wanted to grow more as a writer and a director on the narrative side, and I felt like New York didn't have as much as that, and LA is more the development. And I'm so grateful for what I've learned there, but I'm also super grateful now be in LA, where there kind of is this support system, where I kind of have this team now that's helping me, take advantage of being in that next room.
I mean, that's amazing. Just listening to you talk is just really inspiring. The fact that you were able to just continue to stick with it and have that resiliency, I think it's important, because so many people can relate to that. And then speaking of that, I actually watched you on the red carpet. You look very debonair.
No.
And you just look so, you, first of all, you like you belonged there, but you were so confident and poised, and just with your cast. What was that moment like for you and for your cast to be standing on the red carpet for Cannes?
Man, that was super surreal. And we got to do a couple different carpets. The bigger red carpet, I was actually by myself, and I was only with the other directors, and I wish I was with my cast and crew there that also worked so hard on the project, and I'm so proud to be affiliated with them. But to be out there and to kind of have this professional coming out party of, this is my first world premiere, this is my first time screening in a venue like this, at a festival of this caliber, with these other incredible filmmakers. It was the most validating, craziest, overwhelming, in the best way time of my life. You struggle so much coming up, and what helps me deal with that is just how much I love it, and how much I really do love it. And the hard work to me never feels like a negative part of hard work. It feels like the best. And that also hasn't stopped at all right now. We love the work, and we love striving after it, and being able to show, where you're at professionally, and show something that also can kind of display what potential you might have, meant the world to me at Cannes. And I'm still having pinch me moments all the time.
I think you're definitely entitled to them. Like I said, you're a pleasure to watch, and you're just even more engaging in person. So I'm wishing you all the best. I know you're going to have continued success. I'm going to throw it back over to Cyrus.
Thank you. Well, join me on the next red carpet, okay? Everyone's coming in.
We're
coming in. I need. Please.
Got you. I got
Thanks,
you.
Chanelle. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chanelle. Appreciate that. Blake, I'm going to do a quick reset, Blake, for our audience that are just joining us on Amazon. I see you guys over there. Welcome to you guys. You all are watching Cyrus Webb and Friends here on Amazon Live, but we are simulcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. Our guest is filmmaker Blake Winston Rice. We're talking with him about his journey, as well, of course, his newest project, T. I'm going to give a quick shout out to you guys on IG. You guys are really flooding over there. Cheryl, hello to you. The Uncle Dandy, hello to you. Also, Meet the World Image Solutions, hello to you. Elda, hello. Telemika, also a filmmaker here in Mississippi. Blake is joining us on IG as well. Maintain the
Amazing.
Flame, hello to you as well. See you guys over there on Facebook as well. And Stacy, thank you so much for the chats too. Great conversation with the ladies. Blake, I want to kick off with something Chanelle was just talking with you about. I love the wording she used about belonging. Because I love that too about your work in prepping for this segment. And I'm so excited about this time with you too. What has that been like for you to, I mean, it's one thing for you to know you have talent. It's another thing for you to have that talent realized. What has that part of it been like for you to know that not only are you doing what you love, but that people are recognizing this is where you belong?
I mean, I'm still realizing that. So it's still, that's a work in progress. But to kind of get the feedback that what you're doing is it's landing with other people, and that it's really, you know, that the stories you're going after are connecting with others, it means the world. So much of filmmaking is a team sport, but a lot of the beginning phases you're pretty solo. The writing, the prep, all of that, and then especially the post-production too. And to be able to share it with others and to see others connect with it is so validating. And then also it's so motivating too. It really kind of feeds the beast. It's like, oh, I was close to something here. I really want to chase that. And they're seeing potential in this part of my filmmaking that I really was close on. And I think I can really get there on this next one. And then for stuff that doesn't land too, it's just as much of the strength, you know, when you show your work as well. Like if when stuff doesn't land, there's such incredible value to that. It honestly sticks with you harder. A great laugh or the oohs and ahs, the audience are awesome, but they kind of just are. They're a lighter note to you as something that doesn't land. And I think I'm still growing. I got a ton to work on. I don't think T is perfect. I don't think my next thing is perfect, but I want to chase that. And being able to get it in front of others, it helps you realize, you know, what the best direction is moving forward.
Love that. Stacy says it's the love of it that will keep you doing it. I totally agree. Thank you for that, Stacy, over there on Facebook. That brings us to another great question. It was a great interview you did with Pop Culturalist, Blake, that I really enjoyed. And you said something, and I love the wording. I tell people with this program, I feel like it's a dance, right? That as long as I'm making my guests feel comfortable, we're kind of able to flow into it well. You said something interesting in that interview with Pop Culturalist. You said that for you, once you have the characters cast for any project, it kind of becomes theirs, and you're just a consultant. I think that's really interesting with T, because you have such talented actors in there. What was it like for you to have them, for one, to trust you, but also for you to trust them and bringing the story to life?
I think a lot of that, it's like you said too, you kind of create that room and you create that, and that's all part of directing and producing as well. If you can develop a story that's strong enough that you've put the work into, and then present it to the actors and made them feel confident enough and create a comfortable enough space where they are trusting in that, then you're in a really strong position to create something special. You know, are we down to risk? Are we cool to ready? Like, can we drop everything and really dig into these characters and not be afraid of, are we looking cool? Is it going to be pulled off? Is it going to look good? And a lot of that comes down to trust in the actor, trust in the director. And I was so grateful to have Michael Gandolfini and Olivia Nickman in this, who were so incredibly giving and trusting right off the bat to this project. I can't thank them enough, and I can't speak more highly to the professionalism they brought and how much they gave to each of those roles.
Well, as I think it was Kate that mentioned, I mean, the word continues to get out, and we're excited to be able to have this time to share it with our audience as well. For those who are just finding out about T, like, kind of tell them about the premise of the short film.
We like to call it T is a comedy about loneliness. It takes place in the early 90s in the back of a strip mall in New Jersey. And it's about this lonely circuit shack employee who basically is rehearsing asking out the girl of his dreams. And while he's doing that, he gets caught in the throat by a hornet, gets stung, and goes into anaphylactic shock, just as the love of his life, which he hopes, kind of breaks out into the back of this strip mall. And he has to basically convince her to save his life, which is not only his biggest fear, but the most dangerous thing in his world right now.
Yeah, I love that. And what you're able to do in a short amount of time really shows, for one thing, skill. But also, I think one thing that we try to talk about a lot on this program too, Blake, and that is, it is always quality over quantity, right? You know, if the story is good, you don't need to have something that's an hour to be able to convey, you know, a good thought. And what I thought about was the metaphors of this film, right? Because I think for you as a creative, for myself, and my friends here on the platform, facing that fear, not knowing what people are going to, to take away from it is something we all choose to do. I guess my question that I was getting to is this: what helps you to keep facing that fear? Because you're getting, going back to that article with Pop Culturalist, they called you someone who's really a person to watch, and what is it like for you to accept that and embrace it, but also think about, okay, living up to that with the next project?
There's been a bunch of phases for T and kind of my next project that are definitely stressful, definitely pressure packed, but honestly, I'm trying not to focus on that too much. I feel like the best way to handle any pressure or any kind of stakes or expectations is to put all that energy into the next project. I think I know where effort is placed right now, and it's on the prep and the writing, it's on the people you put around you, and how hard you drill these characters out and the structure out, and how much you really test that script. As a director, I'm always trying to get tighter on my prep. And definitely the prep shows up on the day. And so you can always know your story more. You can always prep your different departments better. And I think that showed up in T for sure. And when stepping into the next project, I have this cool team around me now that I think are pretty, they check all the boxes that I'm looking for, and especially when how to push me. And I'm pumped to have the opportunity to push myself and make that first feature debut, which is what, fingers crossed, is the next project. And I'm pumped. Hopefully I'm doing more of these chats with you on a little bit of a longer form. I got the short one for you now. We're going to have to stretch it out next time.
Love that. Looking forward to that for sure. Give everyone, Blake Winston Rice has been our guest. We've been talking with him about his filmmaking journey and his newest short film, T. So before I bring the ladies back to wrap up, Blake, I want to ask you, where can the audience look for T to be showing next? And what are you looking forward to next that you can share with our audience?
Absolutely. Well, you can follow T online and everything at T the Movie on Facebook and X and Instagram. And then we're screening at a bunch of festivals coming up. We have the Newport Beach Film Festival. We have the SCAD, which is Savannah Film Festival. We have the Woodstock Film Festival, Santa Fe International Festival, and then Denver as well. So we're bouncing around a couple cities, and there's a bunch of others to announce. And we just found out today that we won Best Short Film at Charlotte Film Festival, and we got some more cool announcements coming out. So stay up you can check out tthemovie.com, and it has all our screenings, where to get tickets, what cities we're in, and where we're heading to next.
All right, love that. We're going to bring the ladies back up. Ladies, great job with the questions. Really appreciate that. So glad that you all could spend this time with Blake as well. And Blake, I do want to ask you, for our aspiring filmmakers and creatives out there, what advice do you normally give? I know you normally use your platform to be able to showcase your work, but what advice do you normally give the individuals who come to you and say, what do you have for me to be able to help me on my journey? What do you normally tell them?
Oh, that's what I want the platform for. There's so many people that I'm so grateful that have helped me out, that are much more established than myself. I love talking to also growing filmmakers too, because we're all growing and trying to get better. Something that I would say to filmmakers that are just beginning their journey is shoot everything you can. You learn so much on every single project. You have a smartphone, you have a camera, you have friends who care. Get in there, test out how to tell stories, and learn something, and be really tough on yourself for what you want to get after, and keep taste in mind, but get out there and shoot. I had professors in college that go, you have a bunch of crap, go shoot out all your crap, write all your crap. You got to get all that out of the way, because you got to learn, and I stand by that.
Love that. Well, Blake, thank you again for spending some time with us here at Cyrus Webb and Friends, and looking forward to our next chat together.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, everybody.
Hey, glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to Cyrus Webb and Friends as well here on Amazon Live, but also for those streaming online as well. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.